It's another beautiful evening. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to another episode of Man Up. My name is James Okumu. Tonight we have the season finale of Man Up for this season. We'll be going back in time and looking at some of the episodes that we feel really had a great impact in this season. But before we get into that, at Family Media we are celebrating 23 years of God's faithfulness. 23 years of God's provision, 23 years of God using this media house to be a blessing to the nation of Kenya and beyond. And I must say I'm very grateful. I remember many years ago, 23 years ago to be exact, when I walked into the offices of Family Media at NSSF building. I think it was either the 23rd or the 24th floor. You know, young guy, clueless of what I want to do with my life. I was already married, one child, no job. I mean, I was struggling. And the interesting thing is that a neighbor of mine is the one who booked an interview for me at Family Media. She came and told me, you have a good voice and you're not using it for anything. I've booked for you an interview at the Christian Media House, the new Christian Media House. And so I came. No papers, nothing. I just came with my voice. And I didn't go home that day. I started working at Family Media 23 years ago. So when I look back at how faithful God has been for us here at Family Media, I can only say may his name be praised. It's not about us, it's about him. He's the one who holds this station together. And I want to thank you, our partners, for working with us and supporting us over the last 23 years to ensure that we keep Jesus on the airwaves. So as we celebrate our 23rd anniversary, all glory and honor goes back to God. So, as I said earlier, tonight we do a recap of some of the shows that we feel have had an impact in this season. In studio with me today, I have Drake Masinde. He's a writer, columnist. Good to have you again on the show. Karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an amazing season. We've tackled quite a number of issues.
Yeah.
And, you know, some hit the bullseye. Others hit a good place, but there are those that hit a bullseye. Yeah. And I want us to look at 3 specific shows and just see what we can say about them, because I believe they were very pertinent issues and they had a great impact to our audience. So we'll look at the first clip. This is a clip from a show we did that was talking about money lessons, men and money lessons. Mr. Mwanaume, I have a question for you. Have you ever gone for a financial literacy class? Have you ever gone to see a financial coach to gain some knowledge and to be taught about money and handling your money?
Learning about money is actually learning about yourself. And that's very difficult for a man to sit and learn about himself. Because when I learn about money, how money works, my habits and so on, I am basically seeing the results of my decisions or lack of decisions.
Okay. Women find it easier to say, I don't know.
Yes.
Very easy.
Yeah, men, even if it's directions,
I've never had a problem with a woman who doesn't know how to manage money coming to pretend I know. They just tell you, Pameo, I don't know how this thing works.
Teach me.
Yes, teach me. So you then walk her through some processes. For a man to say that, to be something else.
If you talk to a lot of us, we'll tell you, pesa ni kidogo.
Pesa is always kidogo. That's a fact.
Let's be clear.
That's a fact. Because even Musk has a plethora of issues to deal with. He's now thinking about going to space. Space needs more money.
Yes.
So the question of money not always being enough is not even enough to him, because he's got bigger aspirations to achieve. The nature of the man's mind is that the lower level of values disappear. I mean, the lower level of needs disappear once you met them. The higher level of needs appear. So when I say pesa is kidogo, is to mean this, that looked at in the view of the list of things you want to do, you will still have to prioritize.
When you don't take control of your finances, when you don't take control of your money, it will run you down and it will feed your vices, and it will be merciless.
Money does not spend itself.
No.
I must put my finger in the pocket or I must touch my phone. You've got to coast that disengage. And that starts here. So by aligning your desires to what matters to you most, that's how the value of accumulation gets its place.
People tend to regret things they have not done as opposed to things they have done. Now, wherever you are in your financial journey, you have made mistakes, you have failed. don't fear failing some more. Try, learn, adapt, make a change, write a budget, get a coach. Try something. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, you still learn.
Yeah.
But just don't fail twice. That's one thing I always tell people. Never fail twice.
Yeah.
Failing twice means you failed at an action, but you've also failed to learn the lesson. That's failing twice, and that is fatal. When you fail twice, it's fatal. So learn to fail once.
There is no shop where a man will go and buy financial literacy solutions. People fail
Yes.
either because they do things without thinking, or they think too much about things and don't do them.
Yes.
Behavior change is all you need. It will catapult you.
Wow. That was a very interesting conversation. In fact, it was a two-part series. But there's something that Patrick Wamel said in that clip. I want to find out what you think. I found it interesting that he said he never has a problem with women coming to him and admitting, he's a financial coach,
Yes.
that they have a problem. They're looking for solutions.
Yes.
He says men never ask for help. It's hard for a man to ask for help. I keep wondering, why are we like that? Even directions are too lizagi.
Yeah, because we are men without... Men don't like maps.
Oh, okay.
So the thing about men and maps is we always think that I'll find my own way without having to use the map. And it's the same thing about money. Money, as has been stated, especially during that conversation between Wameo and Bell, was that money is emotional. And you know, if there's something men have a problem with, it is the emotion aspect of their lives.
Yeah.
So if you look back and think about it, men are disconnected, they are not disconnected, they like disconnecting from their emotions. And if money is emotional, it means that is an area where they think they got it all. Then I remember something he also mentioned, that then you hit 35.
Yes.
Then reality comes that now you need to put your things in order. One of the reasons you put your things in order is because your wife has the third bump, and your parents are getting older.
Yes.
The needs increase, and because the needs have increased, now you have to come up with a plan.
Yes.
But now you're like 10 years late. So you have to play catch up. Then you're also looking at your colleagues, your friends, that kind of thing. So I think one of the reasons why men don't seek financial advice or financial help is because we are not really connected with the emotional side of money. I remember reading a book by Robert Kiyosaki in the early days of my financial literacy. And the book said that one of the first lessons Rich Dad taught Kiyosaki and his friend was the emotional aspect of money. How to manage your emotions concerning money. And that was the lesson he took longest. Because he was told, if you don't master this, there's no point of me teaching you about this. And many of us, especially in our context, where we are in Africa, we have no idea that money is also emotional.
Yeah.
We only come to learn of it when you're 45, you're into debt, the auctioneers are at your door, you're facing retrenchment. That's when you start discovering those financial lessons.
There's a comment that came in on that show from Felix. Felix said, great minds here. I'm part of a chama. We have been planning on starting meetings specifically for financial literacy, fitting our personal and group circumstances. It would be great having some guest speakers to light the way. The Man Up channel is a wonderful reference point.
Wow.
You know, and for me that comment brought in the aspect of men coming together. I don't know whether men come together as much as women come together. When we talk chamas, the first picture in our mind is a woman.
Yes.
Because we grew up with our mothers going to chamas.
Yes.
Our dads were somewhere hanging out at a pub, taking a few bottles before they come back home in the evening.
Yes.
Do you think men are warming up to this idea?
Yes, men,
putting heads together and putting finances together to do
men
something.
are warming up to chamas.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons they're warming up to chamas is because we have now a generation of men who have realized the mistakes of their fathers. And this is how they've realized the mistakes of their fathers. I happened to sit with a group of gentlemen who are over 65. And these gentlemen used to be friends in their 20s,
Yes.
early 20s, disconnected, then found all that group of 4, they found themselves old, retired in the village.
Ooh.
At 65.
Yes.
So now there's a gap of almost 40 years. You've never been interacting with this fellow. And their wives, on the other hand, had been operating through chamas. Now, let me explain that in this particular way. Women have discovered the power of chamas because through the chamas they have been able to buy land, they have been able to make investments.
Yes.
Now, these men have been operating like lone rangers.
Yes.
It's like one finger. Then all of a sudden, you have 4 fingers, but 4 weak fingers. Now you don't have the financial might. But the women are now a fist, and they've been holding this thing for many years. So chamas are warming up to the younger generation, especially. Because like now, if you need to buy land, and you need to have value for that land, it's better to buy as a group, as opposed to buying as an individual. It's way cheaper if you buy as a group. And so that is one of the reasons why men and our affinity to land has brought us together. So we were brought together by a problem. We need land. We need investment. So that's one of the reasons why the men are warming up to chamas. But we also have a generation of men who are even taking it further. They are making these chamas like big investment clubs. And some of these investment clubs are making moves in Kenya. Like I know some of the big companies in the stock market began as chamas. And they grew into some of the biggest conglomerates we can see in the NSC. So I think men are warming up to chamas and they have realized the power of chamas.
Very true. Very true. There's another show we had that we will look at, which for me was very interesting. Talking about stay-at-home dads. That one was very interesting. Some interesting comments also came through on that one. You're watching Man Up. We are doing a recap of some of the shows that had some very good impact in this season. We are taking a short break. We'll be back. Kama kawaida, kimbia jikoni, kunywa kopo la maji, and then come back for part 2.
Tomorrow on The Corner, we look back at the journey we've had on our 2nd season.
Welcome to The Corner.
We revisit the lessons that gave us joy and wisdom.
You didn't cheat on your husband.
I don't have one.
Whatever you do should actually be consistent with your Christian values.
Don't miss out on The Corner tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.
When you hear the term stay-at-home mom, you know, the picture we usually have in our minds is mother staying home with the children, taking care of the children, you know, making sure the house is neat and tidy before the husband comes home in the evening, and life goes on. And so the assumption is when you mention stay-at-home dad, you're thinking about the man, the female version of a man, the male version of a woman. Staying at home, taking care of the kids, watoto wameoshwa, wacha nikanunue viazi leo tunapika nini.
Diapers.
Yes.
Changing diapers.
Is that what we are talking about?
I think you can look at it from 2 dimensions.
Yes.
And one of that dimension is the old day stay at home. And there is now the current, the present day stay at home dad. The old version, these are men who basically, and you can be at home for many reasons. There are some people who are incapacitated.
Exactly.
So you can be at home because there's nothing else that you can do. It's
beyond
you are just a victim of possibly deformity or something. There's another class of people who are at home because they have decided. They have decided that my wife has this stable job. I feel instead of now trying this, trying that, failing, wasting money here and there, let my wife concentrate on working. Let me stay at home. What am I doing at home? At home, as a dad, I want to have ample time with my children. Nowadays, there's a very, very huge deficit when it comes to getting a good house help. Okay? So you feel like the things that my children are going through, as a father, I cannot stand it. And because the job that my wife has actually has been supporting us as a family.
Yeah.
You know, every family understands its struggles. And as a father, despite the ego that I am going out there, you know, you can be out there doing a lot of nothing. Where tu ni maraudi mwenda tu unachapa huko. In the evening you come home, you are tired, there's nothing you are bringing on the table.
You're annoyed. Yeah.
You know,
You're tired and annoyed.
you get? So you choose, let me be looking after my children, and as I look at my children, I take it as a full-time responsibility.
I think the best way is first to wait on the Lord. That's very important to have, to understand that identity that he has talked about in Ezekiel. Because still you can talk, and you can do many things. Yeah. So I think that is what is important. And also to appreciate the fact that don't panic.
Yeah.
Because people panic, and we panic, and then you become worried, and worry brings a lot of stuff. So I think the most important thing is to have that stability in your mind and to ask God to give you that peace, so that now you are able to make, to look at things carefully, and be able to embrace and to think outside the box. Yeah, because things can really, probably God is setting you up for an amazing life after that. Yeah, so just look at that and be able to trust that the Lord will open doors for you. I think the most important thing is to be able to trust in the Lord. Yeah, so that He's able to open your eyes and be able to see the next phase of your life, what's supposed to be. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I still have difficulty saying stay-at-home dad because my mind refuses that whole concept.
Yes.
I don't know about you because, you know, even from the clip we listened to, I think there are two things here.
Yes.
There's what you would call a stay-at-home dad,
and
there's a dad who works from home.
Yes.
And I don't think they are the same thing. I don't know what you think.
I don't think they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Number one is a dad who works at home is a dynamic that has been introduced.
Yes.
Especially in the last few years. I remember I work from home, and I've worked from home for the last 7 years. And when I began, I was like an alien.
Really?
Because my neighbors used to see my car has not moved from the parking.
Yes.
I'm walking around in shorts, and something was not
This guy
adding
is
up.
losing it.
Yes. And so, lo and behold, 4 years after I started working from home, my wife also started working from home.
Oh.
And so we look like two guys who have just lost their jobs, but things were still working out. So it was not making sense. Now, COVID came, now it became the new normal. Everyone is working from home. Now it's acceptable. And I will explain that in this way. The Industrial Revolution is where we got this aspect of leaving home to go to work.
Yeah.
The Agrarian Revolution, we were all stay-at-home dads. We used to work at home. We were farmers. You work on your land, you walk back to your house.
Yes. Or if you have a craft, you even teach it to your children.
And you do it at home.
Yeah.
And so we were working at home dads. Then the Industrial Revolution came, men went to work in factories and in industries. And that is where we have been for almost 200, 300, 400 years. Now, there's the technological revolution where the lines have been blurred again.
Yes.
Now you have men who can easily be able to be billionaires and they are working from home. Because of technology.
Yeah.
Now, the stay-at-home dad, now the one who is changing diapers.
Yeah.
The one who
nothing wrong
there's
with
nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
I think that is where people have a problem with, and especially what it has been associated with. Because men are inclined to be the one going out there and providing. Exactly. But you are not the one who is managing the house help.
Waiting the wife to
come back. And I mean, there is something that does not add up in that. And we have a generation of young men who believe that that is work. That is not work. It's being slothful. I mean, I personally do not advocate for that.
Even me, I don't.
I think it blurs the lines in a relationship.
Yes.
And I don't think it's a stay-at-home dad situation. It's a working-at-home dad and a stay-at-home dad.
You can't just sit at home and do nothing.
No, you cannot sit at home and just vegetate. Basically, I mean,
Ati, what were you
does
up
that
today?
make
I washed
sense?
the dishes.
Ati, I washed the dishes. I changed the. Imagine he walks today. No, we don't want to encourage our boys to think that that is a career option.
I don't know.
Yeah, so do something. Leave the house.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to encourage that level of, I want to call it slothfulness from men, because you have so much more that you can.
You can offer. Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very true.
Yes.
Very true. There's another show that we had that also was one of those shows. A lot of comments came in. It was about being vulnerable, men and vulnerability. And let's watch that clip, and then I'll read a comment that one of the people sent in. Men are actually vulnerable, but we are very careful who we are vulnerable to. Me, I've never seen my father cry.
Yes.
To this day, and I know he's watching this show, every time I'm around my dad, I feel like he can handle any problem, because that's the persona he presented before.
Not even cry, even hold your hand.
You know?
Yeah.
So, because I never saw that, the question I ask, if I saw that at that point, would I have been able to handle it?
For me to be vulnerable, I have to come from a family that is very stable.
Yes.
I have to come from a family that allows me to make mistakes. And how these mistakes are handled, they're handled in a humane way. Right? As a parent, the bigger responsibility I have is to teach.
Yeah.
The brain of a human being grows very slowly. A cow of 4 years has given birth maybe twice. A baby of 4 years is actually going to school. So human beings, we grow slowly.
Yeah.
So for me to be vulnerable, it has first of all to emanate from my past. And my past is a family. Did my family allows me to actually be angry? I allow my son to be angry, even at me.
Yeah.
And I want to know, are you angry at me? And he has the liberty to say yes or no. And even tell me it's not you, it's mom. And I allow him to do that, because for me, that represents self-mastery. It's under self-awareness. So when you look at your father, the kind of culture that he found himself in did not even allow vulnerability on the level that we are seeing it today. The kind of lens I'm wearing today and the kind of lens my dad wore, those are two different lenses.
Yes.
The key thing I am proposing to the current man, kindly live the moment. The yesterday does not belong to us. Tomorrow would come. For me, the most profound moment is here and now. Am I functional? Am I constructive? Am I okay here and now? Because this is the moment.
Vulnerability is all about openness. It's about willingness to be vulnerable. And we have to have a non-judgmental approach. You know, that when I'm reaching out to you as James, when I'm reaching out to Greg, do I feel safe enough, you know, that I trust him enough not to judge me? And also, when you're looking at yourself also, if you judge yourself a lot also, you will always see like everyone is judging you. Yeah, so it starts with yourself. And I think it's high time as men just to realize that we have a lot of challenges and we are facing a lot. You know, you go to work, probably you're not meeting your targets and you're struggling with that alone. And you cannot go to a friend of yours who's a man and ask them, you know, how are you doing this? Man, you're always hitting targets. You know, you hit targets last year. This year you are 3/4 way done and we are not even half the year done. So don't look down on yourself. Just reach out. Yeah, it's always about reaching out.
That was a very nice show we had about men and being vulnerable. Listen to a comment that came in. I want to hear what you think about this.
Okay.
This is a comment that came in from a gentleman known as George. He said, why do we even have shows talking about men being vulnerable of all the other things they can talk about? Vulnerable means possibility to harm, either physical or emotional. How about we discuss the importance of strength, how to fortify men instead of always expecting negative energy like being vulnerable? The title of the discussion alone made it impossible to watch this this more than 2 minutes. Men need to be armed with tools and techniques to win and to know more about rediscovering their strength and not constantly pointing them to weakness. Truth is, no one wants a weak man. No woman is attracted to a weak man. Weakness is not desirable for a man. Women are created to desire and search out for security. They rarely find confidence and comfort in weakness. A vulnerable man is a weak man. Let's build up a strong and courageous man. A vulnerable man is a weak man. Do you agree with George, or do you think otherwise?
It is the perception
yes.
of vulnerability of a man. Now, it is not that men are not vulnerable. Men are very, very, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
But let me give you a context. Men are vulnerable in a context. There are certain reaches of the emotional aspects of men that they are uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Now, I want to show you where men are vulnerable. Go and watch a soccer match between AFC and Gor Mahia, and you see how emotionally connected all those men are, and they go through all the motions.
And the emotions.
Yes. So men are vulnerable now, but it depends on the context. If you look at in the context of relationships, like I remember one of the comments, one of the guests, I think it was Shem, who spoke about men only are able to show two kinds of emotions. You're either sad or angry.
Yes.
Like I have seen my father cry, and it was at a funeral.
Oh.
So that tells you that men have that capability of being emotional. So there's nothing wrong with a man being vulnerable.
Yeah.
But it has to be brought out in a way that would still maintain the strength of this particular man, because men always have a problem with connecting those the strength aspect and the vulnerability aspect, creating that balance. Now, another thing that I've noted is the emotional health of a man is their secret to being vulnerable.
Yeah.
People who are comfortable. I remember one of the comments Greg made was that when you look at a person who has a very stable family background, chances are very high that they are also emotionally strong.
Yes.
Being emotionally weak as a man puts you at a disadvantage, because you will not be able to go and understand the plethora of emotions that you would be able to you are going through in a particular time or aspect or in a particular season of your life. And so I believe a man has to be vulnerable. But as a man, you should be able to define the context within which the vulnerability comes in.
Wow. It's been an amazing season. We've had quite a number of subjects we've talked about.
Yes.
I think you are also a guest in one of the previous shows.
Yes.
What would your parting shot be to the men who've been watching?
My parting shot would be this. We need to build ourselves as men. Men who have value.
Yes.
With values.
Value with values.
Value in that, as a man, you should be constantly building yourself, modeling yourself to become a better version of yourself. Financially, physically, emotionally,
yes, spiritually.
If those four aspects are not in place, you will be a broken man. Second, you have to have values. Values are the things you live by, maxims, and that goes to the root word discipline, like disciple, discipline. These are, we are in a generation where discipline is always looked down upon, but that's where we need to go back to. You need to develop the discipline of integrity, the discipline of hard work, the discipline of kindness to others, lifting other people up, the discipline of being concerned about what is happening around in the community around you. And I think those are some of the things that men need to really focus on in order for us to be the victorious man, the man who will leave a legacy that will bring honor and you will be proud of to hand over to the next generation.
Very, very true. Rick, asante sana.
Thank you for having me.
My friend, don't just leave a blue legacy for your children. You need to leave them something bigger and something better than that. Thank you for being a part of this season of Man Up. Even as we wrap up this season, I would love to hear from you. If you're watching the show tonight, Tell me if this show has been beneficial to you. Do you want us to continue with another season? If yes, what are some topics you would like for us to talk about? Wanaume, msinyamaze kama kwa Garden of Eden. Pana, give me your feedback, because this show is about men and it is for men.
Fresh, insightful, and in-depth stories from current affairs, opinion, inspiration, lifestyle, church-related articles, and so much more on www.familynews.today. Insights at your fingertips.